Get ready for hot takes and insight from local industry experts in real estate, business, and lifestyle. He used to play ball with the Padres. He played hockey for the Lobos. Now they're crushing it in the real estate game. Together, they'll showcase the best of the Duke City. This is All About You, ABQ.
That's right, it is all about YouABQ. Now, the goal of the show is to highlight the best of our city's industry experts in real estate, culture, and lifestyle so that you walk away with some value and feeling inspired. Now, the way we like to do that is to answer the questions you may have or interview the guests that you like to see. So we invite you to join the conversation. You can follow us along up here on our social media or join our email list to get some timely tips about our community and real estate market. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, Vision Mortgage Home Loan Expert.
Now, you probably recognize Grant as the head coach of the University of New Mexico men's Lobo hockey team, but now he's absolutely crushing it in the mortgage game.
Where do we know this guy? HGTV's House Hunters, and he's part of the top 2 producing percent agents in Albuquerque.
We are hooked on phonics. It always
stumbles me. It's like an alliteration.
No, it's tough. It is. Season 3. I know it takes a while to get it down.
He's still part of the top 2% producing agents in Albuquerque.
Here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined by Mr. Downtown himself, Ken Sears of Community Body Mind Wellness Center in downtown Albuquerque. We always talk about how downtown is slow to adapt and keep up with larger cities, but Mr. Downtown Ken Sears is going to drop some knowledge on some places we had no idea even existed.
Yeah, well, you and I appreciate the rejuvenation and rehabilitation of downtown because I think that it got a bad rating, and so I think that everyone's sentiment about downtown is rather antiquated. I think I love a guy that's invested in downtown, lives downtown, is putting another business investment where his money, where his mouth is.
Yeah,
that's what I appreciate about that.
Yeah, so stay tuned to segment 2. Grant's going to jump into the Mortgage Minute, but also stay tuned to the end of the show. It's everybody's favorite.
Saving marriages.
Skip's Tips. Grant, dude, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas outside. Yeah. What have you been up to, man?
What does that mean? Let's talk about the economic scale. So let's talk about how the Fed Reserve and how economics is going. It's been said that people are willing to spend 19% less than they were last year. What does that mean?
What does it mean?
Less disposable income, right? So we have all these high indications of the economy booming well, but people are very aware of what interest rates and inflation means. It means that they realize they have less money at their disposal per month. So when you go to spend, a lot of people have already factored in, I'm not going to be able to expend as much as I did last year. And that's people having a non-scientific relation to inflation. That means that they realize, I don't have as much money as I used to. And it's been said that in the next year, people will have to earn $15,000 more than they were the year prior to have the same lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's funny because we always talk about how Albuquerque is one of the most affordable cities in the Southwest. So when you look at Denver, Dallas, Phoenix, and that our cost of living is, somewhere at 95% of where that is. So you could, technically move here and hopefully save some money, keeping the same amount of income coming in. So
well, the bad part about this is I think everyone's going to realize the inflections of inflation, and what that means is you realize that your money does not go as far in the prior year. So unless you get an 8% raise, this next 2024, you are effectively earning less money than you ever have before. And it's a sad truth. I don't want to inspire any riots, but that's essentially what it means. And I don't think a lot of consumers realize how far their money is or is not going due to inflation.
Well, until you get to the holiday season, which is why we're going to blame it on Santa Claus this year. Speaking of Santa Claus,
yeah,
we went to a fundraiser this weekend for Lapdog Rescue. And were you ever scared of Santa Claus as a kid? Did you ever have to go take a picture?
There was one year at Coronado Mall where that dude did looked like he was trying to kill me.
Well, look at this is Birdie this year,
Yeah,
freaking
not
out,
happy, not having it.
but she's making progress from where she was.
Well, you had it outside of a homeless guy's truck of a Volkswagen.
Hold on, this is to benefit Lapdog Rescue.
Okay.
And then here was Birdie last year, so she's making some progress.
She still hates all of it.
Freaking out.
You know what's funny about this? The parents have this obligation to do this. Meanwhile, let's look at the evidence. They don't like it.
No.
Meanwhile, we're going to bring you back another year.
She's actually crying about inflation, Grant. I'm tying us all back in. There's no gifts this year, Birdie. It's all.
She's really weary on the financial scale. That's so funny. It's really funny. You talk about the traditions of parents, and obviously you don't care how your daughter feels.
Oh yeah, let's be all inclusive. How are your feelings about Santa Claus?
Doesn't matter. Wait till you're grade 6.
Get a job, Birdie. So again, man, it's there's a lot going on here in Albuquerque. One thing I found out today. So this is always a problem, right? You move into a new neighborhood, and all of a sudden you have to sign up for new internet access. Depending on which neighborhood you're in, maybe they don't have high-speed internet. Yeah. And this is big too, especially in the East Mountains. And it's always a pain in the ass because you got to wait on hold with Comcast or whoever it is.
Who are the prevalent?
What do you have? Comcast, Xfinity.
Yeah. So who's out there?
CenturyLink.
Is Quest out there?
I guess Quest. I don't know. CenturyLink.
So there's bad ratings in Quest. Look, you could sue me for libel or slander, whatever you want, but my ratings.
Ratings are ratings.
Yeah. Cool.
High-speed internet. A new high-speed internet provider is hitting the streets of Albuquerque. So Vexus Fiber is doing an expansion here to be another high-speed internet provider. So they're entering the Albuquerque market. They're big in Texas, but the company is aiming for full coverage of our city within 5 years to bring more competition to the market and kind of hopefully drive down prices. So right now it's available. Let's see, new internet service is available on the west side of town, west of I-25 and north of I-40. So that's where they're starting, and then hopefully, their fiber will be in all over the city, providing more competition.
Look, we've probably reached, you and I have experienced, there's a monopoly. Like, people either have Quest or Comcast, right? And that's your only two choices. I would love to break up this monopoly because it seems like you don't have any choice.
Well, it's annoying, and too, like I said, it's even if you move 2 streets over, you could be now. You have to switch everything over to Quest. So new email addresses, new logins. And if you know me, I don't know what my passwords are, so it's just another step.
Let me tell you, in our real estate industry, we have passwords coming out our ears. We could care. I don't say we could care less, but like I actually tell my clients sometimes that your information is so safe that even I can't get to it.
Yeah, I can't even get to my information. Right? You ever tried to get an email from a title company?
Oh my God, it's triple secure. You might as well have a Q clearance at Sandia Labs. It's the hardest thing to ever retrieve. Yeah, don't worry.
No, but as the real estate market continues to grow and expand, values are going up.
So what's your take on this? This is kind of freelance. We didn't discuss this before. What is your take on the current, and what do you project the Q1 for 2024 to be?
In my crystal ball? It's a little foggy right now. Okay. I mean, interest rates are bouncing around, obviously, which is the main indicator.
It dropped almost a full %.
Where are we at?
8 to 7.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. We are seeing a few more deals for seller financing hit the market.
I know. It takes me out of the market. See ya.
But talk a little bit about mortgage. Let's jump into the mortgage minute.
The mortgage minute, yeah. So Skip alluded to the mortgage minute, and I want to give my take on seller financing, or let's talk about 2-1-3-2-1 buy downs. What does that mean? 2-1 buy downs, meaning that the lender will take your interest rate and chop it down by 1%. That may cost you $10,000 to $15,000, and that's where a seller might give you a credit for that. Here's my personal take. If a seller is going to give you that kind of credit, apply it all towards your closing costs. And here's why. I firmly believe that interest rates will drop between 1% and 1.5% in the future. There would be no point in applying some of that seller credit towards an interest rate that's always going to come down. So that's, you can hold me to that, but I do believe that interest rates will fall down naturally to where you don't need to put any money towards that. apply that money as a seller credit towards closing costs, and you'll find that in a year's time, you'll be able to have that interest rate that the 2-1 buy down has promised you. That's my mortgage minute.
Yeah, that was a product that really hit the market, the 2-1 buy down, and people were very big to try and offer that. The mathematics behind it, you have to be a wizard, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna have the seller pay for your closing costs, say you have 15 to 20 grand in closing costs, cash is king, man. I'd rather have that cash in my pocket to help make the monthly payment.
Oftentimes, as a mortgage broker, I will apply a return on investment, and I'll show the calculation going, you would have to be in this mortgage for like 4.2 years for you to get your money back. It would be best advantage for you to use that towards your closing costs and actually do a principal buy down. So.
Or right before closing, you could just go out and buy a new car, get some new credit.
Yeah, no, I have had that recently. Someone tried to buy a king size bed, and I said, can we not wait?
Stay tuned to the next segment. Here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. Mr. Downtown, Ken Sears, Community Body Mind Wellness Center in downtown Albuquerque. He's going to talk a little bit about his background, what it's like doing business in downtown, and some cool projects that are actually taking over downtown.
Plus, I like the guy. He's just a nice, genuine dude. I love to promote him.
So stay tuned. This is the YouABQ podcast.
We're back.
Welcome back to Season 3, the YouABQ podcast. I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, Vision Mortgage, home loan expert.
Oh, we got a great segment coming up. Mr. Downtown himself, Ken Sears of Community Body Mind Wellness Center, which is open just after COVID here in downtown Albuquerque. But we're going to learn about some different projects and all the cool things that are going on in the core of downtown Albuquerque. Ken,
Way pumped about it. Let's go.
Yeah, Ken, thank you for showing, man.
Thank you.
First of all, styling, look at,
Yeah.
You know, once I switched out of doing real estate just full time, but also having a wellness center, I get to dress in comfortable clothes.
Just
Show me your forearm, babes, Ken. Look at that. Holy smokes.
Guy woke up like that. But Ken, talk a little bit about your background, because you know the show's about Albuquerque. You're not from Albuquerque,
I'm
but
not.
you spent some time in Santa Fe, but an East Coast kid growing up. How in the hell did you end up out here?
I grew up in Boston. I loved the city. Spent my entire life there and up in New Hampshire, up on the beaches, and then realized that I hadn't tried anything else. So I heard a lot of great things about the weather out here. So I moved out here. I wound up for a hot minute in Rio Rancho and rented that house as my storage shed and moved to Santa Fe. And
I love that. As an East Coast guy, let me talk about me being a Northwestern guy from Vancouver. 310 days of dreary gray skies. I'm sure it's pretty close.
So, you know, Boston is great spring and fall. Otherwise, it is either bone-chilling cold humidity or super hot humidity. And I realized I didn't like humidity. I just didn't know that. So I moved to Santa Fe. From the pretentious town I grew up in, I moved up, and a pretentious college I went to, I moved to Santa Fe. So everything just seemed normal to me until I moved down here.
You have actually a lot of proponent sides of Santa Fe on this show, so you're not wrong.
I love Santa Fe. It is beautiful up there. However, I realized as I started spending time down here that money isn't supposed to be the focus of everything. And I really have loved it down here. I lived in Nob Hill for about 8 years, and then we chose to move to downtown because though we love the community of Nob Hill, we were really growing fond of the community of downtown. And so we moved down here about 8 years ago. And we were living in here and we were watching downtown really form. Like the best I've seen it. Then COVID hit, everything was quiet for a while. Lots of things happened during that time period. And as we were starting to get to be thinking we were coming out of COVID, I recognized that I had an opportunity to be able to help develop downtown's community to come back.
Yeah, well, let's speak to Skip. You know our mantra of the show is downtown.
Yeah, well, downtown, look, a lot of people, you know, different states, different cities have giant downtowns that are thriving with nightlife and you know, businesses growing, and it's a fun place to be. And we've always been a slow city to adapt to that. And a lot of people will move from out of state being like, well, what goes on downtown? And you know, I don't know, go check it out.
Well, downtown is the heartbeat of your city, right? And so Skip and I grew up when downtown was flourishing, right? We had a great time partaking in whatever.
Bar fights you were about.
Bar fights, whatever it be. But that downtown was a place to be, and you cannot say that you can't be neglectful of a downtown if you're going to be prideful of the city. Downtown is a heartbeat, right?
That's exactly right. Anytime I've looked at any other cities, whether the people living in that city really are part of being downtown or not, they all realize that the whole city can't thrive if the downtown isn't thriving.
Absolutely.
So I really am kind of bringing that idea, and it's not my original idea at all. It's just something I've heard and I thoroughly believe in. I'm trying to do that down here as well. So back when I was in Santa Fe, I was a psychotherapist specializing in trauma. I loved it until I realized that I also wanted to go try other things, because apparently I have a little bit of career ADD. So I came down to Albuquerque, really got involved in real estate, and as we're getting into the tail end of COVID, I realized I can get back into working with the community, back into working with trauma, opening a wellness center downtown.
Yeah, so I feel like that you have an enthrallment with being involved with people. And how can you further that? But through real estate. So let me tell you, I'll brag for Ken. He actually puts his money where his mouth is. His residence is in downtown. He put a gym in downtown. And let's talk about that.
Yeah, so it's community, body, mind. We are a communal approach to integrated wellness. Community and wellness all coming together. So back when I was a trauma therapist, I worked with clients after they had experienced a trauma and helping them rejuvenate their resiliency. Well, what we know from all the studies on resiliency, what are the factors that go into it? Community, emotional regulation, and physical exercise. Okay. So if I can figure out how to bring that into a downtown setting and make it be part of what we are naturally doing, instead of helping folks after a trauma, I'm helping everybody build their resiliency. So as I almost said, as things happen, or the shit hits the fan.
There you go.
It's fine. We're just no filter.
We are in a better position to be able to handle it. And as we're coming out of COVID, I was watching those of us that live down here, that used to live in a thriving area and had been stuck in our homes not interacting. People wanted to get out again. People wanted to interact.
Yeah.
People wanted to.
Let's look at that.
Yeah. So
that's remarkable.
That is we have laser light yoga every day of the week.
Happy baby.
Dude, that's so, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, one of the cool things about your wellness center is not just a gym, because if you look at the resume of the wellness center, there's yoga, weightlifting, martial arts, Reiki, therapy.
We have a doctor of naturopathic medicine. We have acupuncturists. We have psychotherapists. We have life coaches. We have personal trainers.
Full conglomerate of offerings. That's great. What's that though? Let's talk about the dining room table.
When we moved downtown, this is what we found. When we started looking for where to move, we came across this complex, and we bought into this complex because it has this big town vibe that I didn't even know at the time existed in downtown.
Neither did we, though. I mean, until Ken has been very hospitable about his Christmas party offerings, I actually had no idea that Albuquerque freaking had this. It goes layer upon layer upon layer. Well, it was impressive.
Let's talk about this, Ken, because you are Mr. Downtown, but a lot of people don't know that there's different neighborhoods of downtown.
Absolutely.
So we've got starting closer to the highway.
So you start over on 25 and you're coming on down, you're traveling through Edo, so the hospital, and going into East Downtown where like Farina is, and
Albuquerque
exactly, and Artichoke. Those are all in
Copper
Edo,
Lounge,
which also is a absolutely lovely little community. So although it's all kind of downtown, we have these little subsections. So Edo, as you cross over Broadway, you're getting into ABQ Core, which is what the Downtown Neighborhood Association.
Is ABQ. Okay, ABQ Core goes all the way into what?
ABQ Core goes to 6th Street. I'm sorry, to 8th Street.
Okay.
And then we transition on to Reynolds.
You're on 7th, right? Not that. Actually, hey, viewers, here's where he is. Bringing Stormville for Christmas candy.
I am actually, my residence is in the Reynolds neighborhood, right on the cusp of on 8th Street. My business, two of my businesses are downtown, and I'm the president of ABQ Core Downtown Neighbors Association.
That's what I like.
Which is super cool because it is both about people that live downtown and own businesses. We all are collaborative of how to keep making downtown grow.
Well, and the thing I think the key is that for self-interested prosperity, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Someone ensuring that they are involved in wants to make sure that things are going to prosper.
Yeah.
That's a great position to be held.
Absolutely.
Someone that's putting their money where their mouth is, and that's what I like about your endeavor.
One of the things that has been absolutely a lovely passion for me in CBM is being able to watch people reconnect to their wellness. Because I mean, for the 2+ years that we were so isolated, I've now created an opportunity where people are supporting each other. We have staff, we have practitioners, and we have members who are teaching and inspiring each other about wellness. And it's so cool to watch.
One of the cool things you were telling me, Ken, is that the location is on Gold Street, and it's very close to the new Bernalillo County building. And we talked about how many people actually work downtown and live in these separate neighborhoods downtown, and what your wellness center brings to downtown is something that, you know, not only the people that live here, but now the people that work here have a place to go blow off steam.
Yeah, it's been so. We also have 2 official gym dogs because I've realized that that's part of the wellness. I actually have members come in sometimes and say, Ken, I've had a really shitty day. I don't feel like working out, but can I just hang out with the dogs? Hell yeah.
Dude, can you speak to anyone that's more invested than us? Like, dude, when I met Ken, like, we were involved in, I'll say, Ken and Jim was a wonderful guy. That's how I met Ken, and I had a wonderful unit of realtors that I would have normally never met. That's how I met Ken.
Yep.
And it was very dog friendly, and I think a lot of people can relate to a dog friendly place. It's cathartic. It does something for somebody. Some people are not dog people. I'm a miss, and so is Ken. But man, when you see a dog in there, you relax. I do. When I see a dog somewhere, I go, "Oh, this is kind of the place for me."
Yep,
right?
exactly.
It creates a culture.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, one of the cool things that, you know, in speaking with you, is that there's a lot of new projects coming downtown, not only commercial but residential. And I think you've got a finger on the pulse of all the different condo buildings. One thing that's cool about Albuquerque is that we have converted old banks, old high schools, old freestanding structures into condos. But talk about some of the cool projects that.
Absolutely. So everything from brand new construction, the townhomes over on
Downtown.
Titanium, and then there's all new structures coming in that will be apartments.
Describe Titanium, because even I don't.
The Titanium, they're 3-story townhomes.
What's the cross streets?
So that would be 2nd, 3rd, gold, and Titanium.
Yeah.
So that's a brand new. I think they are just breaking ground on their 4th phase of that.
Yeah.
I may be off of my numbers on that. And so it's brand new construction. If you're looking for more rehabbed buildings, we still have brand new remodeling going in on the bank building. We still have lots of resale properties going on in the Gold Street lofts. We have the Silver Street lofts where I happen to live.
Yeah.
There's places all around downtown of varying different price points. And within downtown, we also have single-family homes as well. So a lot of folks have the misconception that downtown's about drinking in bars. That does exist, but that's just a piece of it. We have families living down here.
That's what I want to say. There's neighborhood components to every parcel of the city, and I think that it's important for you to develop your the 3 or 4.
Which my place is 4 floors.
Okay, so 4 floors. I think it's important for someone to actually see a template of what exists, and then they will go, okay, I'll throw my hat in the ring, right?
Yep.
It wasn't until I saw your stuff that I go, holy smokes, there is a place for somebody. But I think there's important for you to be an agent and have a example of how it can be
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely.
But the neighborhood culture involves market and do I belong here? And it's not just our subsect of do I own a property, it's the offering between the residences, right?
Yes, and to what you're speaking of, the neighborhoods in the downtown area are little microcosms of communities. The Silver Street corridor, for example, there are restaurants, there's coffee shops, there's businesses.
Well, you guys have had a remarkable, it's remarkable about the culture. It's culture. You have a conglomerate of residences that represent represent a feeling. That's a culture.
Absolutely.
And you guys have that.
And to expand on that culture is why we at CBM offer the gym class for Amy Beale High School. We offer the gym class for Siembre High School. Over the summer, we started offering a gym class for a pre-K class. Come on in. And it's so much fun. There have been lots of studies that are about blue zones. If you've not
The
heard,
healthiest, like richest, like old aging.
Yes,
that.
where people in the world are living the longest.
Yeah.
And while there's variation among all the different blue zones, one of the biggest commonalities is about community and about the members of the community feeling that they have value to give to the community. So as we have different high schools and different pre-K kids coming in and being trained by our trainers in CBM, I'm also watching some of our older population who are there for yoga classes, smiling and interacting with the kids, and it is expanding upon the community that we have. That even includes folks coming in just on their lunchtime from the Burnco building.
Yeah.
It is so wonderful.
Well, one thing we talked about is downtown is not just Central Avenue, not just the old Route 66 where you can get drunk and do it. It's all the ancillary business for the Civic Center, for the county building. And there's, off of Central on Silver or Gold, there's, coffee shops, restaurants, and things to do that don't involve, getting in bar fights.
No, it really is more like when I remember going into other cities, big cities, and then you get into the little neighborhoods of each of the big cities. That's what Gold feels like. That's what Silver feels like. If you want more entertainment, you go on to Central. But if you really want a community vibe, you go on to some of the other side streets.
And I think that participants in residency have their say on what the culture is. And if you feel strongly about it, then it makes evidence for itself, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you're presenting yourself as a strong neighbor, it's really contagious for the next neighbor to go, well, then I'm in, right? And that's how you preserve a culture.
And that's one of the things I really appreciate about the ABQ Core Neighborhood Association is that we meet once a month. It's generally the third Thursday of the month. The next meeting will be in January. We invite everyone to come. Whether you own a business, whether you live downtown, whether you're renting or you own where you're living downtown, it's about creating that space where everyone has some input of how do we make this better for our
You're absolutely
community.
part of the community. It doesn't matter what your entitlement is or whether you own or not. Like if you're living here, let's partake in a positive message.
Or working here, or as a business owner.
Dude, Ken, I love his energy. That's the way you make an impact, right? And it's been said by Robert Kennedy Jr. that said that the way you make an impact is go locally. Go locally and expand out. But until you have things locally ordained, that's how you make the most impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how can people, residents or business owners downtown, how can they get involved with CORE?
You can go onto Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, ABQ Core. You also can certainly give me a phone call. My number and information will be up on your screen. Just simply reach out to us.
Typically, where do you guys have the meetings?
We fluctuate. For a long while, we were meeting over at the Box Theater, little theater right over on Gold. We've actually been bouncing around with different local businesses hosting us.
That's
Really.
great.
Maybe we'll have a local business.
I mean, we're a local business. We got how many?
You guys
Ask our sponsors. So as we roll into the new year, Ken, any specials, anything you want to promote about the community, body, mind, and wellness?
I would say just come on in. We accept just about every insurance plan out there. We also accept self-pay. We offer discounts for any category of hero, be that school teacher, be that first responder, be that retired military. Just come on and come take a look at us. We're just, if you want a community, local owned business.
If you don't believe the results, look at his forearm.
Ken, great to have you on the show. We appreciate you coming by, talking about the core of downtown and how our community can get involved. So we'll have links to all of your sites, social media on our website.
Excellent.
And we wish you the best, man. Well, I'm sure we'll have you back on the
Thank you.
show. Yeah. But here's why you're going to want to stay tuned to our last segment. Oh, ladies, be careful. It's time for Skip's Tips. Stay tuned.
Hello, we're back. Episode season 3, back with Skip's Tips. and take it away. Save some marriages here.
Skip tips, anything that saves us time, makes us more money, or allows us to have more fun in real estate or real life. Timing the market or time in the market. It's no question that with higher interest rates, buyers are starting to flee the marketplace. But higher interest rates will put downward pressure on not only the competition, but also the cost of housing. Since there's minimal competition from buyers, it may be a good time to get into the market. So getting in the real estate market now will put you in a better position financially when those interest rates start to come down. See, lower rates lead to more competition and in turn, rising home prices. So time in the market will always beat trying to time the market. Comment below for a free list of homes priced to sell, share this with a friend, and tell them Skip said so. Hey, what are you doing here?
No, Skip is advocating something that I firmly believe in. Let's say that interest rates are high. It cuts out the competition. So if interest rates are higher than you wanted them to be, get yourself in the market, because I will be able to refinance you in a lower rate in a year's time. Who cares what the interest rate is? Cinch up the belt, right? Cinch up the belt and then put that offer in, because interest rates will naturally go lower. And I anticipate maybe a year's time. But if interest rates are a 7, let's get to a 6. And affordability will be natural.
Mr. Downtown,
I
Ken
actually
Sears.
have to put my belt back though. Hold on.
For the ladies.
Cinch up your belt.
Mr. Downtown, Ken Sears, thanks for joining us on the program. Every Wednesday night, Sunday mornings here on the Education Channel. This is all about you, ABQ.
I'm out of this. I'm out of
You're watching YouABQ.